What a day for Notre Dame fans to be welcomed back on campus, the 2017 season opener and the home of Irish football. Notre Dame Stadium sparkling after 3 years of construction has yielded the perfect blend of tradition and state-of-the-art. Brian Kelly's team, off a disappointing 4-8 season, enters 2017 with major changes, including a new leading man as junior quarterback Brandon Wimbush takes over a potentially potent Irish offense. Test one is Temple, 10-win team each of the last 2 seasons. They have a new head coach. Jeff Collins makes his debut with the defending American Athletic Conference champs. Welcome to Notre Dame Saturday, everyone. I'm Mike Tirico. If you're the second winningest program in the history of the sport, there's always big anticipation and expectations around Notre Dame football. And this needs to turn around because last year was the worst of Brian Kelly's 7 seasons in South Bend. 3 new coordinators hired, a new strength coach. There's an energy and an attitude change. There's a loaded team on offense, but questions at quarterback and defense. The first test, as mentioned, is Temple. This is a good team. Matt Rule, now the Baylor coach, turned this team around. Back-to-back 10-win seasons, played for the conference title the last 2 years. They're Philly tough, and they're not intimidated. As one of their players told us last night, this is a big game because we're here. For the first time in 2017, here come the Irish. Brian Kelly's won 59 of his 90 games as the Notre Dame head coach. He begins year 8 today. And for the 5th straight year, it's a different opening day starting quarterback. Brandon Wimbush takes over. Total experience, 2 games of mop-up action. So all this looks familiar, but there's another new feature in this renovated stadium. There's a separate tunnel for the visitors to run out. And let me tell you, it's really tight. It's claustrophobic in there. They'll trickle out, not run out. But here come the Temple Owls, opening their season in South Bend for the 2nd time in 5 years. First time Jeff Collins has been hired as a head coach at any level. Great place to make your debut as a head coach. The house that Rockne built in South Bend against the Irish, where Brian Kelly is the head coach, and he's standing by on the sidelines as we welcome back Catherine Tappan.
Mike, thank you very much. Coach, you said that you had to hit the reset button after last season. You made a number of changes within the program, but what did you personally do to change?
Well, I think you have to evaluate yourself. You know, obviously an unsuccessful football team. I had to lead better. I had to lead by example, and that is get in here and make the appropriate changes across the board. Again, when it comes to leadership, you start with yourself. And so I think I've made the appropriate changes to be around our football team and much more. Put all those other things aside and focus on our football team.
And focusing on your football team means focusing on a new quarterback. Brandon Wimbush making his first collegiate start today. What do you want to see from him?
You know, look, he's a first-time starter. He's going to make mistakes, but, you know, just park those mistakes, move on to the next play, and he's an exciting player. I'm excited to watch him. If I go upstairs with you guys and watch the game, it should be fun.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Mike, I'm down here. You guys are upstairs. Take it away.
Hey, Brian wants to do a 3-man booth. We're all good, but I've got the Heisman Trophy winner, Doug Flutie with me. All right, change, that's the theme. What's your view of this Notre Dame team?
I feel like everything's in place for this team to be successful. Chip Long, new offensive coordinator, loves to run the ball. They've got a great offensive line, very experienced, big and strong up front. Extra tight ends to help them out to run the football. And 3 tailbacks that can carry it.
All right, Catherine just asked Brian Kelly about it. What's your scouting report on the quarterback?
He hasn't played, so there's a variable there. But he's a bright, mature kid, no doubt about it. Big-time arm, very athletic, can take off and make plays with his feet.
A couple of years ago, an opener, Temple and Notre Dame, you'd say blow out Notre Dame. Last couple of years, Temple has college football's attention. Last couple of days, they've gotten our attention as well.
No doubt about it. They walk into meetings with us, the kids, coming off 2 10-win seasons, very confident. They're used to winning. They expect to win. They're not intimidated by this atmosphere at all, coming off a conference championship. They're a defensive-minded team with a defensive-minded head coach.
You get the sense that they are ready for this stage. Remember, a couple of years ago, they were a ranked team in South Bend when they played Notre Dame. They did not back down at all. Irish won the toss. They will receive. And C.J. Sanders took a couple back last year. Will take Aaron Boumeri's kick. It is so good to have football back. Off we go with the 2017 Notre Dame season. Sanders from the goal line. Picks up some blocks, has some space. Sanders pulled down at the 28-yard line. Good acceleration. If that tackle wasn't made, he had a lot of room to run. Well, we've talked a lot about Brandon Wimbush, the quarterback for the Irish, as he takes over this offense and a different offensive coordinator. So, Doug, while we got used to what things looked like as Brian Kelly was the play caller, it may look a little different here today.
Absolutely. You'll probably see more of a run game, play action, not so much drop back passing, and already a couple of tight ends in the game.
And this young man, Wimbush, the 6'1" junior from New Jersey, can run. He's got good wheels. Looking to pass right away. And looking up top, caught by Equanimous St. Brown, bumped out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Terrific start, a gain of 32 for the top receiver on the Irish.
Watch the inside receiver on the corner route. It's cleared out on the outside. Ball's delivered on time. Pass protection was beautiful. Nice, easy throw to start the game.
Gain of 33, and there goes 33. Josh Adams in the clear. What a start to the season. Touchdown, Notre Dame. You know, if I'm Chip Long, the new offensive coordinator, I drop the mic. I'm done. That's it.
Walk. Done. 2 and out.
Well, that is pro potential on those two players. St. Brown, the big catch for 33. The 37-yard run for Josh Adams. Justin Yoon on to add the extra point. And Notre Dame, message sent in 33 seconds.
Left side of the line, we talked about it. Strong offensive line, created a nice crease, double teams up front. And Josh Adams has speed as well. He's powerful speed. He's put on some weight. He's much stronger. He does run a little upright, but what a start for the Irish.
And Doug, we talked about this watching practice Thursday. There's a lot of pro potential talent on this Notre Dame team. If the quarterback can get them the ball and he can play at a high level, this can be a very explosive offense.
It is not all going to be on Brandon Wimbush. He has tools around him to work with, strong, talented tight ends, tailbacks that can carry the ball with a big offensive line, and a couple explosive receivers.
Yoon is kicking off. It is a short kick and fielded at the 6 by Adonis Jennings for Temple. He's brought down to the 23-yard line. You're going to see a lot as this day goes on of Julian Love, the cornerback. There on kickoff coverage. He makes the tackle. So let's meet the Temple offense and who's going to be working around this uncertain quarterback position. Keith Kirkwood's their top receiver. They are missing who should be their #1 receiver, Ventel Bryant, out with a hamstring injury. The offensive line's anchored by a redshirt freshman. Matt Hennessy played 3 games, then with injury couldn't finish the season. So he was able to redshirt, but he's so impressive in the middle there. He's on the Remington Award watch list. That's the award that goes to the best center in the country. And all the hijinks are over. Logan Marchie is going to be the starting quarterback. Redshirt sophomore from Bristol, Connecticut. And Marchie quickly hits Adonis Jennings, the receiver, for a first down to the 40-yard line. So Temple with an immediate response. It was either Frank Newtile, the junior, or Logan Marchie, the sophomore, who was going to start. It is Marchie who, like all the other quarterbacks on this Temple roster, very limited experience. He was the #2 man most of last year. Gain of 20 on the first play. They'll run Raquel Armstead to the right, and their top running back gets to the 48-yard line. That's a pickup of about 5. Jonathan Bonner made the tackle on that Notre Dame defense. His front 7 has to be better, plain and simple. Dalen Hayes, the sophomore, is going to be a big pass rush impact man. Solid in the linebacking core, including Niles Morgan, the senior. In the secondary, I'll be very honest with you, they're very worried about the safety play. If they're good back there, they may be good all year. Here's Armstead to the left. That time he stopped, just a gain of 2 yards as Jay Hayes, the senior from Brooklyn, made the tackle.
Well, this Temple team has a heck of a fullback in Nick Sharga. Watch #4 come off the edge. Now, this is 2 plays in a row. He's put a guy on the ground, creates the seam, for the running back, Armstead. He is a legitimate big-time fullback, and there aren't many in college football.
Put 4 in the pattern and throw incomplete. And a twist and turn. Broderick Yancey, his receiver, around. You'll see more of Yancey because Ventel Bryant is out with a hamstring injury. But 4th down at the 44, they'll kick it away.
Well, they have a shot here. There's separation over the top, but because it's man coverage, you have to make a tight throw. There was a blitz coming, a little pressure on the quarterback, and it's an errant throw off the mark on 3rd down. I would expect to see a lot of man coverage on 3rd down to get off the field for Notre Dame's defense.
That's Chris Fink back deep. Alex Starzik, who was suspended for a good part of the preseason, is back with the Temple program. He's a good kicker. Sure-handed punt return man in Fink. Fair catch at the 13. So Notre Dame stops Temple on their opening drive. And the Irish offense back on the field. 2 plays, 1 touchdown. This drive starts at their own 14. And Wimbush gives. It's Adams, who had the touchdown run a moment ago. Only a yard there. So you've already met Josh Adams, the best of 3 backs you're going to see as the day goes on. And Equinemius St. Brown. I want to call your attention to the tight ends, too. Working with St. Brown in the pass game, they have 5 really good ones. 2nd team preseason All-American Mike McGlinchey is the left tackle. Quentin Nelson's a 1st-team All-American at left guard. They're really good over there. And on that side, Adams twists and turns for a 1st down run out to the 26-yard line before Mike Jones spills him.
Adding to that offensive line is number 72, Robert Hainsey. He's actually in the game right now at right tackle. A little better in pass pro, and Kramer maybe a little better in the run game.
There's one spot that was very important in this preseason camp and a tight battle throughout. Wimbush gets spun and pinballed around after a gain of about 7 yards on that keeper. That is one of the things he does well, but that's that first hit we've talked about. It didn't look like it was a fun hit to take.
No, exactly. He's been wishing to get hit for about 9 months now, and he took a little shot, spun to the ground, but I think Chip Long actually called that intentionally, get a chance to break a sweat, get hit, get into the physical part of the game.
Sam Franklin was happy to oblige. This is a zone read that Wimbush keeps, accelerates, and has a 1st down inside the 40 at the Temple 38-yard line. Gain of 13 for the quarterback. I mentioned Deshaun Kaiser, who was the Notre Dame quarterback the bulk of last year. He will be the starter for the Cleveland Browns a week from tomorrow against Pittsburgh. He's come over the 4-hour drive. He's on the sidelines talking with Notre Dame Athletic Director Jack Swarbrick, among others. We mentioned the good defense from Notre Dame left a short field. The Irish taking advantage of it here. Here's Cameron Smith coming around from his receiver position. Smith, one of 2 graduate transfers into the program this year. He played at Arizona State and gives them great variety. He and Freddie Canteen, 15 and 11. They're both at the top of the screen now. Canteen came from Michigan. Smith from Arizona State. 3rd and goal. Temple's coming. Wimbush stays alive, stays on his feet, and takes it to the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame. And that's what mobility can do for you.
Initially, he wanted a guy in motion coming from his right. He's a little confused, but he knows he has to snap the ball. So obviously there's confusion within the route. He did have a shot at the tight end on a corner route, but he finally gets to use his legs and take off and run and extend plays, which is what he will do very well.
We have on the left side of the line. Let's credit 71 Alex Bars, the right guard, held his block. Wimbush found that little alley to run. Justin Yoon adds the extra point. 28 yards on the ground on that drive for Brandon Wimbush, the name to get to know. Notre Dame's new quarterback having a very good first quarter in his first start. Mike Tirico, Doug Flutie, Catherine Tappan here at Notre Dame Stadium. Been a terrific start for Brandon Wimbush. First time as the Notre Dame starting quarterback. First 3 drives, 2 touchdowns, doing it with his legs on that drive. And the Irish, less than 10 minutes into the season, have a 2-touchdown lead on the Temple Owls. Yoon's kickoff comes down to Adonis Jennings. Returns it to the left again. He's over the 20 to the 20. 3 Logan Marchi remains the Temple quarterback. There's a thought the Owls may see multiple quarterbacks here. 3 drives, all 3 with Marchi. He's got a new running back, David Hood, who runs to the right and only gets about 2 yards. Tackle made by Jay Hayes, who was part of that defense that, candidly, Doug, was not very good last year. When you look at where the Irish ranked, it was not where this team needs to be.
I mean, it took them to the 4th game to get a sack. The amount of points they were allowing, no pressure, and already we've seen a sack and a couple of pressures today.
5 on the defensive line here as Marchi gets pressured. His pass is complete. Good job by Isaiah Wright to avoid the tackle. We'll get the first down across the 35-yard line. Tavon Coney in on it for the Irish.
Cooney coming through clean, a mistake in the offensive line. They had enough people to pick him up, but he came flying. Great job of Marchi getting the ball out quickly. That's what I call chuck and duck. Turn that shoulder, protect yourself. You know the ball's gone. Nice completion on a play where there was no blitz pickup.
It's a technical term.
Technical. Oh yeah, all my terms are technical.
Chuck and duck. Just past the 35, Marchi throwing the out. It floats in the air, but into the hands of Isaiah Wright. Good passing catch into Notre Dame territory at the 39-yard line. A pickup of 24 in front of the safety, Nick Coleman.
Great job of Wright of maintaining his balance coming out of the break. Marchi's eyes went out to the outside, and both guys break on it. But Wright, in his pattern, tripped, stumbled, stayed on his feet, was able to make the catch.
Wright plays many roles for this Temple team. Some as a Wildcat quarterback at times last year. This is Hood cutting it back. He's tripped up. Nice job by Jonathan Bonner. Second time we've called the senior from Chesterfield, Missouri on the defensive stop for the Irish.
He's a guy that's been changing positions throughout his career at Notre Dame and now finding himself as a nose guard, nose tackle, down lineman.
Marchi seems to be settling in a bit. On time and on target with his tight end Kenny Yeboah for a first down. That's the 25-yard line. Nick Coleman again on the stop. The Temple keeping the chains moving. Best looking drive of this opening quarter.
Marchi gets he's getting a lot of zone coverage on first down. He's making quick decisions and getting the ball out of his hands. I like his rhythm and how quickly he's making the decision of getting it out.
His top running back, Raquel Armstead, back in the game. Notre Dame showing blitz, bringing heat, shot downfield. Best receivers, Keith Kirkwood. Contact, no call, incomplete as Kirkwood was being defended by Julian Love.
Love may have gotten away with a little tug and a pull there down as the ball was in the air, but again, pressure. This is all out blitz coming after you. Great job of stepping in and getting rid of the ball and taking the hit, though. Notre Dame brings a full pressure, man-to-man coverage on the back end. Love holds up. There's a little bit of contact going on down the field.
But the officials are going to let that hand fighting go a little bit. Are you being denied the opportunity to get to the ball? Didn't look like it there. Armstead on the run. Good counter for a gain of 6 yards as the tackle is made by Devin Studstill. He's a backup at one of those safety positions for the Irish. Studstill, sophomore from Florida. He had 9 starts last year as there was injuries and the search for answers on this Irish defense. He remains on the field for 3rd and 4.
Again, in third down situations like this, I'd expect man-to-man coverage, bring a little pressure.
Irish changing the defensive look. Marchi throwing end zone, nothing there. As Nick Watkins had that shutdown. It's the best Irish corner against the best available Temple receiver in Keith Kirkwood. Again, their top receiver, Ventel Bryant's out with a hamstring injury. So Temple will try to get on the board with a field goal. Austin Jones tore his ACL after a kickoff last year in the game against Memphis. Aaron Boumeri, who you saw kick off for the Owls earlier, came in and did a very good job the remainder of the season. But Jones has rehabbed that leg where he tore the ACL is even stronger. And he's back on the field, the senior kicking from 36 yards. And it's got to feel good after all the rehab he did to knock that field goal through for the first points of his Temple season. So Jeff Collins' team is on the board. 14-3 Notre Dame.
so.
Short kick is fair caught. Notre Dame has 3 tight ends lined up there as that line before the kick returners. So you want a pooch kick? That's fine. Durham Smythe with the catch there, and the Irish take over at the 28. 2 backs in the game to start this drive. This is Josh Adams, the main back, and Temple does a nice job up front to make the stop. No gain there. Tony Jones Jr. See Dexter Williams at some point as this season goes on. So this is the talent we talk about around Wimbush. There are some really good players. If the quarterback's on, this can be as potent an offense as anyone in the country.
His job is going to be to distribute the ball and then use his legs.
No gain. Jones in motion. Adams the run. Oh, he breaks free. Look out for Josh Adams. Temple pursuing from behind. Adams at the 30 and the 20. They've got the angle on him, but take him out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Sean Chandler all the way across the field for the stop, but a huge run of 60 yards for Josh Adams.
He's put on a little weight, a little bit stronger, shakes off a tackle, and takes off. He still has the speed. Great job up front. He gets one little arm. That arm tackle is not going to bring him down.
Quentin Nelson, the guard, the All-American, with a terrific block to create that opening. This time Wimbush pulls it down, puts it up top to the end zone. Caught for the Nick Wisher touchdown.
This is a strike. He can't break contain off the bootleg action. The quick throw's not there, so he puts his foot in the ground, turns around, snaps his hips, and boom, a laser right on the money, because that was tight coverage. Nice job by Franklin in coverage. The ball was just on the money.
A terrific throw. We've talked about Wimbush and all the things he does. Maybe didn't spend enough time talking about that laser arm he has. And you hear a lot of Durham Smythe and Alize Mack and the freshman tight ends that are here for Notre Dame. The senior Nick Wisher with that touchdown grab. Justin Yoon with a happy first quarter. 3 extra points. Irish offense, a terrific start. Wimbush with the rocket. Wisher the catch. 21-3 ND. Yoon kicking off, and this time no return from Mike Jones or Adonis Jennings. The Temple will take over at the 25-yard line. The 25, Marchie, straight option. Well, Armstead gets the edge and gets 7 yards before a busy Devin Studstill makes the tackle.
I see a little bit of everything out of Marchie at quarterback. That was a true option. Ran right at Drew Tranquil, made the guy take him, takes a pitch on the outside. Great first down game.
Went to St. Paul Catholic in Bristol, Connecticut. 6-footer, played in 5 games last year, led 1 scoring drive, but Philip Walker was the man for Temple in terms of quarterback the last 4 years. That time, nowhere for Armstead to go. Drew Tranquil, who Catherine told you about earlier, adjusting to his new position, all over that. And we'll have 3rd and long as this quarter gets to the end.
Tranquil just comes up the field in a hurry. He ran in a hurry. He's playing fast from that rover position. This defense has been simplified somewhat, and the talk on the defensive side of the ball is that they are trusting their reads, trusting the defense, and playing fast.
No reason to rush a play here. Temple needs to get collected. You got 3rd down and 5 coming up. Do it on the other side. 2nd quarter. Irish defense are run down by the student section. They've seen a really good opening quarter. After 1, it's Notre Dame 21 and Temple 3. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Bose. Picture postcard Saturday in South Bend. Glad you're with us. Notre Dame Saturday on NBC. Mike Tirico, Doug Flutie, Catherine Tappan. Dream start for the Irish after the 4-8 season, up 21-3 on a Temple team that's won 10 games each of the last 2 years. Logan Marchie 3rd and 5, and his pass incomplete as he tried to get it to Isaiah Wright. And again, Dalen Hayes rushing, tried to jump over the running back who was going to cut him at the line of scrimmage.
Again, Notre Dame bringing pressure on 3rd down. Watch from the top of the screen. Push, jumping again is Hayes. That's Okwara putting pressure on the quarterback, making him release the ball early. tight man coverage, you could still complete that pass, but because of pressure, it's tough in third down situations. You got to stand in there and deliver that ball and get the conversion, because Temple can find themselves way out of this game if that continues. That was a very important conversion.
Down good rush, and now it's Starzik. He gets away a high hanger, 46 yards. And Chris Fink will make the fair catch. It's been a long time since we've had a Notre Dame Saturday without knowing Ara Parsegian was watching. He passed away in early August at 94 years old. What a great coach, what a great man. Led Notre Dame to 2 national championships, 1966, 1973. In 11 seasons, his record was 95, 17, and 4. A warmth and a connection with people, in addition to being such a great coach. Brian Kelly said, a remarkable man, truly unique. You see T-shirts, the protection of the goalpost, even on the helmets. Ara's name is there and present, and his presence will be part of Notre Dame football this season and, of course, beyond. Wimbush in the open field. Wimbush makes a man miss across midfield into Temple territory, and a first down at the 48-yard line. Gain of 18 that time.
Stepping out of tackles, again reading zone read. That was more like Brandon Wimbush running with the football. We saw him slide down a little earlier. I think he's been coached to be a little bit careful. But once he gets into the flow of the game, that's not going to happen.
Delvon Randall, the outstanding safety for Temple, not out there. Benny Walls is the other safety right now. Wimbush with a great arm, put it up top. Caught by St. Brown. Equanimous St. Brown read it in the air, came back to the ball, matched up on a linebacker, and dusted him. Gain of 33.
Sharif Finch with the pressure right in his face. Wimbush coming off a fake, a naked bootleg, comes out, takes the hit, throwing off balance, puts it 40 yards downfield and lets his receiver make a play.
Sam Franklin, the strong side linebacker, that's not what he's supposed to be doing. He just got caught defensively. Good stop on the run by Tony Jones Jr. Just a yard before Benny Walls makes the tackle. Sharif Finch, who you just mentioned, Doug, it's one of the best players up front for this Temple team, a guy who can make a game-changing play. He just checked out of the Owls lineup as they are desperate for a stop here. Run right. Jones keeps the feet moving. Look at that pile being pushed by Notre Dame's big offensive line to take it down to the 10-yard line.
The rugby scrum. These offensive linemen love this opportunity. I've seen it over the last few years where they all come join the party. Start pushing, stay on your feet. They'll hold the runner up so they can continue to push.
Alex Barr's got going there on the right side. He's 71. He's a senior. 78's Tommy Kramer. That's the position we're watching closely. Right tackle for the Irish. 3rd and 6. Wimbush looking right. Pass incomplete on a contact with St. Brown and the corner Artrell Foster. Wimbush got hit as he threw it, and he got roughed.
He stood in there and tried to deliver the ball, though, and the pressure comes from the middle and also off the edge a little bit, but it's all coming, and it's man-to-man coverage. He gets rid of the football. Little smack to the head with the hand.
Yeah, Julian Taylor, watched by Wimbush's helmet right there, and then the push in the face mask to knock him down. It's Temple tough, and that's one thing, but Temple not smart on that play because it would have limited Notre Dame to a field goal attempt. Instead, it's 1st and goal at the 5.
There is a fine line between that intensity on defense and playing through the whistle and then getting personal fouls.
With a 2 tight end set for the Irish. St. Brown in the corner, spins around, collects the ball, touchdown, Notre Dame. Equanimous St. Brown with his first of the season.
He's one-on-one out there with Linwood Crump. And really, it was good coverage on the play, but good ball placement over the outside shoulder. He does a center field turn to find the ball, catches it over the opposite shoulder, and pulls it in. That's knowing you have an athlete out there that's pretty tall, and you're just going to put it up and let him make a play for you.
Well, St. Brown led this team. He was the offensive player of the year for the Irish last year, the leader of that wide receiving corps with 9 touchdowns. Fans murmur Yoon as Justin Yoon adds The extra point and another solid drive for the Irish. They've scored on 4 of their 5 drives to start the season. Wimbush hit all 3 passes on that drive for 48 yards. The last 5 to St. Brown, 28-3, Notre Dame. And maybe as you watch the game, other than the video board, it's hard to see, unless you think back to the 60s and the 70s when it was just a bowl, but these edges of the buildings, the suites that are out here now, and also for the fans inside, the benches have been replaced, more restrooms, the concourses are great, Art Deco look, some of the memories of Notre Dame football, just every detail done, terrific. Mike Elko trying to create pressure. You don't even necessarily have those guys up front who are going to dominate the game on the D-line, so a little bit of what he's trying to do. Jagger Gardner is the running back for Temple as Logan Marchie rolls a first down throw to Kirkwood, complete. Kirkwood right in front of Julian Love with a grab at the 41-yard line, a pickup of 16 and a first down.
Nice little route by Kirkwood. They have explosive receivers. Temple receivers are dangerous. And Marchie, I tell you, he can throw the football. He's finding targets as far as he needs pass protection.
Move man's Kenny Yeboah, the tight end. Try to set the edge for the run by Jagger Gardner. Bounced one outside. A good pursuit tackle by Nick Coleman up from his safety spot. Seen the safeties get involved in the run defense here significantly. How about this, Doug? You want to talk about guys who like to have fun? So there's a great energy at Temple practice. So Sharga was sent up by the coach. Just go play guitar as the guys are warming up. Break the monotony of camp.
Looking like Slash there from Guns N' Roses with the hair. And
look at him.
I tell you what, go get him, Slash. That's
great.
Awesome.
Leon Johnson's offensive lineman was loving it in dances. A little bit what Nick Sharga does. They think he's as good a fullback as there is in the country. 3.8 GPA, chemical engineer.
Coached by the head coach.
Yeah, that's right. Give you some licks on the electric guitar and a fullback. Sharga gives it everything. Pretty good player. Nice jump cut there by Armstead. Well, Armstead with a run to the 33-yard line. Catherine, what about Sharga?
Well, he's also one of 11 kids, guys, so maybe he had to differentiate himself a little bit, learn how to play the guitar, but he's also wearing a single digit there, number 4. He said he's really proud about that. He transferred from a Division II school, West Virginia Wesleyan. He knew he wasn't going to play that year that he transferred, but he was grinding it out on the scout team, trying to make an impact, and he earned the single digit jersey while playing on that scout team. So he said he was proud that his teammates thought enough of him and his work ethic to award him with that, even before he ever took it down for Temple, guys.
And before he even brought out the guitar, too, Catherine. It's great stuff. 3rd and 2. He's in there to carry this time, and he pushes the pile right to the line. We'll see if they got the first down at the 31-yard line. Spot looks like he's got it. So you see some of the versatility for Sharga. You know, Catherine, Doug mentioned the single digits. You'll notice Temple players are at 1 through 9. Everybody's got a single digit. It's a very special part of this program. It's a holdover from the last era. It shows a toughness. It shows leadership. And when you get a single digit at Temple, that means you are a special player. It started with Al Golden, and he was really, before Matt Rule, the guy who got Temple football righted. He did it in 2009. He said a lot of high school players had single digits. He wanted to keep the tradition going. Steve Adazio after that. His pass incomplete as it was intended down the middle. Adazio did away with it. Steve, the Boston College coach. Your alma mater got a win last night against Northern Illinois late at night. The noise I heard down the hallway, you watching the game. But one of the first things Matt Rule did now 5 years ago when he came back, he brought that tradition back, and Jeff Collins was happy to continue it. And he is taking great care in the ones that he has given. Only a few were left, and the players knew they came from him and really from the heart of the new head coach to signify toughness. Keith Kirkwood, the receiver, number 5, was the first one that Collins gave a single digit to. 2nd and 15. It is a good run by Armstead. Spins for the first down. So despite the first down penalty, Armstead beat that little pressure from the safety and had an opening to take it into the red zone.
Keep an eye on the left side of the line and the fullback again. Here's Leon Johnson on the outside. I'll tell you what, Sharga, putting this guy on the ground every time, every time.
It's 2nd and 3. Good drive was going for Logan Marchie. He's back in the air to the end zone. Held on to by Kirkwood. And Temple has a touchdown. Keith Kirkwood ends a very long drive as Temple gets on the board.
This is a bootleg action where he's going to roll right, trying to fool the defense, and then throw back left. Julian Love's in great position. Kirkwood just goes up and makes the play on the ball. It didn't fool him. He broke back in good coverage, but Kirkwood's big body goes up and makes the play.
That's a terrific adjustment by Kirkwood, too. He came out of that break. The ball was back the other way, had a corkscrew around. Good hands. Marchie has thrown a touchdown pass for the first time in his Temple career. And it is 28-10 as Austin Jones adds the extra point. It's a reason to cheer for the gang back in Philadelphia, as it's an 18-point game. C.J. Sanders with a return for the Irish, and he will be stopped before he gets to the 20-yard line. So a little good turnaround here for Temple, getting themselves back in this game. Up offense, Durham Smythe gets it towards the sideline. He's out of bounds, so that stops the clock with 49 seconds left, and another gain for Notre Dame, this one of 8 yards.
But now you're in an area of field. If you make another play, you're staying aggressive here and going after a score before half.
Irish stay hurry up, even though the clock was stopped. Oh, he almost threw an interception. He threw it right into the hands of DeAndre Kelly. Just the big man, as he was up in the air, couldn't secure it. Dangerous throw by Wimbush.
He gets pressure up the middle, turns to throw, last second to throw the wide receiver screen. Right into the arms. Potential for Booth Lloyd to intercept.
If you could hit the pause button of life for 1/2 second, DeAndre Kelly could see that ball coming to him. Oh, he would have had a dream for a lineman. 3rd and 1 here now. They will try to run and get it, and they will. Adams, who's got a lot of room, couldn't get his balance, but shy of midfield with 3 timeouts in 40 seconds. The Irish going to have a chance to add to this 18-point lead. The rushing half for Adams. Wimbush, middle of the field for the tight end. Smythe holds on. Took the big hit. Down at the 22. Timeout Notre Dame with 30 seconds remaining.
He did have time to pull the ball down and protect a little bit, but took the shot and held on. Usually those middle read balls are a little more up the middle of the field. He got forced a little bit across. The throw led him across to the backside safety, and Randall delivered the blow. He's gathering himself.
Delvon Randall, big hitter with one there. So Smythe out to be looked at. Alize Mack is in. Wimbush throws, and Mack can't hang on. Look out, one of the student managers on the sideline took the hit. She's back up and okay. And hung on to the Gatorade as well. That was good hands and taking the hit. This Notre Dame crew, top to bottom, has come ready. A little toughness for 2017.
That's where the offseason program came in handy for it.
All right, 2nd and 10 here. 2 timeouts, 21 seconds. They are in field goal range. From here, a field goal is 45 yards, so you want to manage the opportunity to get points. Slant is caught by Cameron Smith, but Temple folks want to say no catch. No definitive signal from the umpire who's in there. And now a timeout is taken.
Is an incomplete pass. It will be 3rd down and 10 with 12 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they get 2 timeouts back. He shouldn't have to snap it on the whistle because it's an incomplete pass and a dead clock.
With only 12 seconds, they could take a shot at the end zone here because they are already in field goal range.
Alize Mack is moving. 4-man rush. Wimbush puts it up top, and it's incomplete. Try to get Mack, and the safety coming over Randall again was all over that. Delvon Randall put the hard hit on a second Notre Dame tight end on this drive.
Pressure on the play coming off the right edge. But Wimbush hangs in there and tries to deliver it down the field. And Mack takes a shot. That's when you're throwing it up for your big tight ends, hoping they go up and make a play for you.
It's going to be a 44-yard field goal attempt for Justin Yoon. His career long is 52. His long last year was 40. That one off the upright to the right, and no good as this half comes to an end. So a dynamic start for the Irish, but a strong finish to the half for Temple. Looked like Notre Dame was on their way to adding more points, but off the right upright from 44 for Yoon, and the half ends 28-10. So Jeff Collins' team got a little bit of momentum at the end of the half to take into the locker room. Temple gets it to start the third quarter. At the break, 28-10. Don't forget the halftime performance of the Notre Dame bands on NBCSports.com and the State Farm halftime report next after these messages from your local station. 28-10, the biggest numbers. Notre Dame on top as we look at our first half stats. Brought to you by Bose. You'll see a Notre Dame offense that had the offense, the numbers going and the numbers churning in that first half, Doug. Over 300 yards of total offense, 340. However, Temple got themselves back in the game, running the ball quite well at the end of this first half.
It was the running game that got it going for Temple, and Armstead's done a great job. But the offensive line's handled it up front. He also has a fullback in front of him leading the way. And Armstead is an explosive back. He's jump cutting, finding creases, gaining yards on the ground.
Temple gets the ball to start the third quarter. The kickoff return by Mike Jones, who takes it across the 25 to the 27-yard line. That's where Temple will start this third quarter. Notre Dame was terrific out of the gate. Temple worked their way back in the game. Important time of the game here as this second half begins.
No doubt about it. Temple got the ball in the end zone and then made a big stop at the end of the half to just hold to a field goal and keep themselves in the ball game. It looked for a while Notre Dame was in total control. Right. Definite momentum swing in the second quarter.
We're going to see him in a little bit. What did you think of Brandon Wimbush in the first half?
Outstanding. Very good. Used his legs, took too many hits. Made some plays in the passing game and also using his legs.
For Temple, it's been Logan Marchie at quarterback throughout. Gives to Raquel Armstead for the first carry, and he is stopped for no gain. Let's see what the Temple side was thinking at halftime. Catherine?
Well, Mike, I spoke to Temple's head coach Jeff Collins at halftime, and he said on defense, the adjustments we have to do is we just have to run to the ball. He felt that in the first quarter, they're playing a lot of first-year starters, and he saw their hesitancy. He thought by the second quarter, they were settled in a little bit more. He said on offense, we really have to start controlling the clock. He liked the way they did it in the first half, but he said we have to do more of that and get these guys to settle down. Mike?
Okay, Catherine, thank you. It's a great play there by Tranquil. Took away the screen pass that Marchie was going to throw, and Dalen Hayes slings them out of bounds at around the 20-yard line. Boy, you talk about a team and defensive play. A lot of guys made good plays on that one.
No doubt about it. Hayes is putting the pressure on, so he figured, oh, just dump it to the swing. And Tranquil was blitzing, but pulled out into coverage, continued the pursuit. Both Hayes, non-related.
Yes.
Making the play.
And Tranquil part of that as well. That will be credited as a sack for Dalen Hayes. That's 2 sacks for Notre Dame in the first half, in the first 3 quarters, I should say, of game 1 of the season. So now 3rd and 16. And the redshirt sophomore from Bristol, Connecticut, and St. Paul Catholic High School just going to run it. Pitch, option, Armstead. Got some of it back, but nowhere near that first down mark. Nick Coleman on the tackle. Armstead thought he did not have a knee down, and he was able to pivot with his hand and stay on his feet. They're marking him back at the 31.
If his knee did not touch, at least his forearm was definitely on the ground. He's down, but running the option game a little of everything in the running game. There's the right forearm all the way down.
You can put a hand down, but once you get past the wrist bone on the way up the arm, that counts as a body part down. So Notre Dame's defense does what it needs to do. 3 and out, and Chris Fink awaits the kick from Alex Starzyk. Tumbling towards the sideline, not the deepest kick, just 34 yards, and Temple downs it at the 36. That's where the Irish will take over. A lot of talent on this Notre Dame team, including, Doug, the left side of their offensive line.
Yeah, Mike McGlinchey at left tackle, Quentin Nelson at left guard. Just been working hand in hand. Here's a double team where they drive their defender into the backfield. It's just, they're working well together. They've set up the running game where Josh Adams went for 130 yards in the first half. And even the quick pass set, no pressure from their side, dominating the line of scrimmage.
Passing numbers, Tony Jones Jr. in the game, runs right. Ball comes out as he goes down. No whistle, and it's Rule Temple ball on the field. Thought he might have been down. Jacob Martin comes up with the recovery. Let's see. Are they now going to say he's down?
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
Let's see if it's out. That left knee looked to be down. The question was the ball coming out. The call on the field was fumble. Is it coming loose there? That is very close. They may have to keep that one on the field. Sharif Finch, their outstanding defensive end, with the strip.
After further review, the runner's left knee was down prior to the ball coming out. It will be second down and 3. The ball be placed at the 38-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 58 seconds.
Such a fine line. We both thought the knee was down, but I really didn't think they'd overturn. It was so close that I didn't think they'd overturn that.
Could have seen them justifying going either way there, even though the gut feeling was, yeah, stay with that call on the field. So Tony Jones puts it on the ground. He goes to the bench, and Dexter Williams, the junior from Winter Garden, Florida, comes in. It goes down as a gain of 6. And the 20-year-old Wimbush will give it to Williams, who will get the first down as he's spun across the 45. He's going to get all that yardage, too, because he fell on a defender's body. So first down for the Irish. Temple Russell made the tackle for Temple.
That left side of the offensive line is moving people. There's no penetration. They're walling their men off in the run game.
Back to Williams. Good gain as he moved up the middle. Dexter to the 47-yard line. Let's go back to that play you just talked about, Doug.
I mean, this is a short yardage situation. Look at this left side come down. That's Quentin Nelson, 56. I mean, look at the hole. Look at the size of the hole. No, I couldn't.
You couldn't get through that. You get through that one. There goes Williams. Inside the 20. Pushed out of bounds inside the 10. So Dexter Williams gets an opportunity after Jones fumbled, and 3 runs add to his total. 40 yards on that carry.
Again, it's Nelson and Mustafa this time. Left guard and center working together. Run the ball to the left side, coach. Let's keep running left until they stop at left. That's me as a player talking to my coach.
No doubt. 55 yards of running. Give it to Tony Jones, who takes it into the end zone for the touchdown. And again, that left side paves the way for a Notre Dame touchdown.
Quentin Nelson pulling out, securing the edge. Actually, initially, it looks like he wants to kick the defender out, but he hooks him. And watch him pull. I got the arm on the back there, coach.
That's a hold.
Was there a flag on the ground?
No, there was not.
Okay, there was not a hold.
He grabbed him and held on to him. So Jones comes back after the fumble. 3 runs by Williams. He comes down, and Jones takes it in. The extra point added by Yoon, and it's 35-10 Notre Dame. Here with a minute 22 left in the third quarter. It's just interesting to watch. Bryant's been so involved in the calling of the offense, and it's the move to a CEO head coach, like you see so many other coaches at this level in college football involved with everything. They're going to take this kickoff from 5 yards deep. Jones hesitated once, hesitated twice, and will take it out to the 30-yard line, where he's tackled. Catherine Tappan, you've been on this Notre Dame sideline for several years now. Have you observed a different Brian Kelly at all today?
Absolutely, Mike. It certainly has been a different Brian Kelly, and I asked him at halftime what the difference is with his coaching style this year compared to previous years. He said he's been involved where he's needed this game, on special teams, offense, and defense, but he said, I'm really just trying to help my football team win this game. He wasn't happy with the last bad series on defense going into halftime, so he said there were a lot of things they had to clean up, but I've noticed him getting more involved as well with things happening off the field. They honored Bob Crable for the College Football Hall of Fame earlier in the game, and he stood and he applauded him and he shook his hand. We didn't see that in previous years, Mike.
Certainly not. Marchie from the 30. Temple's got to go to the air now. He finds Keith Kirkwood, gain of 16. And Catherine, what you were just talking about is a perfect illustration right after that kickoff. Brian Polian, who's the special teams coordinator, came right over to Brian Kelly, and Brian was having that conversation where at other times he might have been with the offense, just going over what happened the last series. Frees you up to do different stuff.
Oversee the entire game.
Napoleon, who was here last year as the head coach at Nevada, now has come back to a place that's very special to him, where he was an assistant coach to control the special teams. David Hood that carry. Jonathan Bonner with the tackle. Final half minute of this third quarter. Brian's so excited to be back. Of course, his dad, the Hall of Fame NFL executive, Bill Polian. Bill and his wife are watching Brian. So glad to have them back here in the Midwest, and disappointed about the way things went in Reno, but happy he could come back to a place where it's a very good connection for the Polians. Slant caught by Kirkwood. Good looking receiver here inside the 35. He'll end the quarter at the 32-yard line, trying to keep Temple in this one as we head to quarter number 4. Only touchdown to that quarter scored by the Irish. Off we go to the 4th in South Bend. It's Notre Dame 35, Temple 10. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Bose. Our score by quarters is brought to you by Bose. Notre Dame jumping out to the quick 21-3 lead, had it to 28-3. Temple had a chance. It was 28-10 at the half. They had the ball inside the Irish 15-yard line. But a sack, a missed field goal. Notre Dame turned around and scored late in that third quarter on the run by Jones. And they lead by 25 to start the 4th. Logan Marcy's pass is too high for Keith Kirkwood. It's incomplete. And we'll have second down. If you're just joining us, this is a Temple team that won 10 games each of the last 2 years. Their head coach, Matt Rule, has gone to Baylor, where he will get his season started against Liberty. That's a very difficult job to take over there in Waco. So enter Jeff Collins, the 46-year-old head coach, who's defensive coordinator in the SEC for the last 6 years. He was very good friends with Matt Rule, took this job, has a Temple team that is young in some spots, especially quarterback, where they've been so solid for the last few years with Philip Walker. If they can stabilize that, they're going to be a factor again in the American Athletic Conference this season.
Philip Walker was a big graduation for them. He was a 4-year starter, 47 consecutive games. But he was a playmaker and carried that offense. And you're starting fresh with a young quarterback, and there are other things in place. I mean, we've seen them run the football behind a strong fullback and running game. It's a bright future, Temple.
Walker was with the Indianapolis Colts. His cutdown day likely to be released, but we'll see if he can find a way to hang on and make the roster down the line. 3rd and 4. Quick to Kirkwood. Couldn't get his hands on it. And Marcy's a quarterback who in high school threw for 112 touchdowns, threw for 9,000 yards. This was seen as his job to lose coming in, trying to find his footing here in this opener. And on 4th down, down 25. On 4th and 4, they will go for it.
That's one of those, it's got to be 100% completion. You sling it out there to your wide receiver with a cushion, and everybody's just playing a little fast. Creates the 4th down situation. A lot of man coverage in this situation. A lot of pressure been coming from Notre Dame.
4th and 4. Dalen Hayes offside, so it's going to be an automatic first down for Temple as that pass was incomplete. Intended for Isaiah Wright.
There was movement by the right guard.
Offsides. Defense, number 9. 5-yard penalty. First down.
I really thought the right guard moved.
Let's see. Hayes, see what you saw?
Oh, he taps the center and gets set. No, it was just him getting set. That's offside, definitely. It's on Notre Dame.
Look, you only had 14 sacks as a team last year. You have 3 in week 1, so you're a little hungry to get some more. But it keeps Temple on the field, keeps him in the game here. Armstead to the left, going nowhere. Andrew Trumbetti was the first one to get over there and start the play for the Irish. There's the senior from New Jersey.
He's had ample playing time since his freshman year. Never a true starter and a focus point, but always a guy that played a role in this defensive front.
Figured, Doug, he's going to be really like a 3rd defensive end if everybody stays healthy with Dalen Hayes and Jay Hayes at each end. Julian Okwara in rush situations, pass rush situations. Run by Armstead, who's getting close to 70 yards here on this opening Saturday of the season. And again, it's third down for the Owls.
You got to believe it's 4-down territory for the Owls, so you don't have to go after it. You expect some zone coverage. Don't force it up the field.
Third and 11. Irish plays zone. Pass in the middle of it is caught, and good second effort by Broderick Yancey. And the spot's going to be just inside the 10. That's a Temple first down. Gain of a dozen for the junior from Bradenton, Florida, who caught only 4 passes last year.
Boy, nice timing on just getting rid of the ball out of the shotgun. These quick passes are not easy out of the gun. To gather yourself, hit a quick slant in traffic. Look at that when the ball was actually touched. Yancey comes up with it in traffic, breaks the tackle, gets the first down.
We're seeing enough out of Marchie, the Temple quarterback, to feel good about where they can be as the season progresses through the next couple of games before their big one in week 4 against South Florida. End zone shot, busted coverage, drop ball. Kenny Yeboah is never going to have an easier look for a touchdown. Big play guy, a redshirt freshman they're expecting a lot of. It was right there for him.
Yeboah has the opportunity. It looks like it's going to be a wide receiver screen. Everyone jumps the wide receiver. Boom, wide open in the end zone. Off his hands. Yeboah, he's kicking himself. Here's his opportunity.
And he was a good high school wide receiver, too. He grew into the tight end position at 6'5". Second and goal. Yancey on the edge. Got a block. Did he stay in bounds? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Temple. Broderick Yancey. And it's 35-17. 16, excuse me.
Great block by Kirkwood on the perimeter. And actually, Julian Love loses contain. Kirkwood made the block, and Julian Love got caught inside, out to the corner. Looks like he stayed in, Coach.
Absolutely. Nice job for Yancey. And Broderick Yancey, 2 career touchdown receptions, both at home. A great place to get your first road touchdown as a collegiate player here at Notre Dame. So the score is 35-16. The margin is 19 at the moment, and Temple's going to go for 2. Play clock running down. They're a little out of sorts here. And it's a jump pass by Marchie for Yeboah. Incomplete. And it will remain a 19-point margin. Yancey, the touchdown grab. He had a couple on that drive. Temple getting a little more comfortable on the offensive end. Still in a big hole.
There's nothing like the atmosphere of college football.
And again here we talk about the Campus Crossroads project, the $400 million over 3 years. It's been a construction site, really has been, but all these buildings that you see around the stadium that have been built, all the classes, student, academic needs will be taken care of in these buildings, as well as the surroundings for football Saturdays. Really well done. Tony Jones Jr. is back at tailback. He scored on the end of the last drive. Wimbush with time, shot downfield. Equanimeous. St. Brown can't pull it in. Going for the home run shot to close out their workday. It just goes incomplete.
Boy, this is one where, look, we're going to go play action. I'm going to hold on to the ball. You just keep running. He runs past off a corner blitz through the safety. And you're full speed, that's a tough catch. I mean, he is completely full stride reaching for that ball.
Second and 10. Wimbush will keep it here. Get to the edge. Good move to get around and get the first down and get out of bounds. Not take another hit. That's a gain of 13. Wimbush is near 80 yards rushing on the day.
Little agility shown there, a little bounce in his step, getting to the outside. And he's still running with the football. We're into the fourth quarter. He's taken a number of hits today.
To Cameron Smith on the edge. Smith will gain about 4 or 5 yards. See that Michigan-Florida game is a 9-point Wolverine lead in the third quarter. Of course, Malik Zaire was here at Notre Dame. He has gone to Florida. Only 4 of 6 passing for 35 yards and 1 rush for -2 yards. So Malik has not had a significant impact on a Florida team that has struggled in that game on the offensive end. Over the middle for Smythe, the tight end. Extends. Did he keep it between his legs? No, it hit the ground, incomplete. As Smythe is slow to get up as he sold out for that reception.
He caught a ball down the middle of the field earlier, took a big
hit,
shot. Yeah. He went after this full board, laid out. There is no fear in his, the ball's over the middle, it's mine. He's going after it. And there's no hesitation as far as being laid out or going after the football.
He took that second shot from Sean Chandler, the safety coming across there as he was fully stretched out for the balls. For the Irish, Wimbush pass is complete. Held on to by Equinemius St. Brown. There's a clear #1 receiver on this team, and it is the junior from Anaheim, California.
He's had a couple big plays down the field, a 33-yarder, a 34-yarder. He's the go-to guy.
4 catches on the day. Running back, and Wimbush will be sacked. That's Quincy Roach, number 90, redshirt freshman. The speed rusher gets in there for the sack for the Owls.
Absolutely, coming around the right edge, and this is the weak spot for Notre Dame. They have tight ends on that side of the formation. No one bounces out. Probably Alex Barr's responsibility to bounce out there and maybe pick up the outside rusher. Great speed rush, as you said, coming on the edge.
For Roche from Randallstown, Maryland, and now Wimbush will keep. Nice run by Wimbush. See that first down marker, gets there, stays in bounds inside the 20-yard line before Delvon Randall tackles him. There are 2 flags, though, back where the quarterback departed. It's a 22-yard gain if it stands.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And the run will get Wimbush to near 85 yards now, rushing on the day. There's the hands to the face on the inside. Diabate had the hand up in the face of the center. So that'll be tacked on to the flag, to their gain, I should say.
Quinn Nelson's strong, though. Huh? Arching the back, holding his ground, not giving up.
You're right, it was Nelson, the left guard, not the center. First and goal for the Irish. Wimbush pressured, escapes, trying to make something happen, stays on the run, and that's a lot for nothing. No gain.
He's getting a little carried away, trying to make plays, running around. It's just, he's becoming very instinctive in this game now. Levine had the pressure coming up through the middle here. Watch to the left side, come right through. It was initially a wide receiver screen, but the pressure was so quick it just didn't happen.
It's one of those moments, 35-16. Why do you have a guy in there at this point? Do you want to get Ian Book, the backup, some time? Well, it's only 68 snaps. This is twice the snaps he has in his entire career. So you have that, run that fine line of experience, close the game out on a positive note. Wimbush to Alize Mack. Will be down just inside the 2 with Sean Chandler on the tackle.
And Wimbush is picking himself up off the ground again, as you said. But there's a mental discipline that comes with finishing the game and running all the plays. Georgia next week should be a very physical game. Do you want your quarterback taking these hits?
Strong performance on the ground for the Irish. See if they punch this one in on 3rd and goal. It is Adams to the right. And Adams is denied. When you talk to Temple, they tell you that Delvon Randall, who made that play, and Sean Chandler, who we've seen also today, are as good a pair of safeties as you'll find in the country. And that's a statement, obviously, you're going to make if you think your guys are good. We've seen that they can play with anyone out here. They are very good players. Don't know if they're the best tandem in the country, but they're eye-opening. Good stuff.
Physical, close-on receivers, close-on running back. 4th down, they should be running the ball left.
Irish going to try it to the right. Adams powers his way into the end zone for a Notre Dame touchdown. second of the day for Adams.
Well, Notre Dame's tight end slash fullback, right at fullback, came in as a tight end catching balls, but also backs up into the backfield acting as a fullback. So we've seen some power football tonight from both sides.
We saw 84 on the field as well. Cole Kmet. Kmet 84 and Brock Wright 89, two of the top tight end recruits in the country. No school had a pair of tight ends come in at their level as Yoon adds the extra point. Both on the field there, both figure to be a part of this season as they go along. Used to that tight end position and the running backs. Adams 161 yards and 2 touchdowns today. A good day for the Notre Dame offense, which has racked up 42 points and 537 total yards. See Kelly in a conversation with his quarterback on the sideline. The quarterback's smiling and laughing. You know, it's been a good day.
It's been a while since we've seen that.
Good day for Notre Dame for sure. Isaiah Wright with the kickoff return just across the 20-yard line. Logan Marchi to the air and Marshall Ellick across the 40-yard line. With a good catch and run for the first down and a gain of 19 for Ellick, who caught 12 balls last year. Troy Pride Jr. And some of the reserves get into the secondary for the Irish with a stop there. Temple opens up in the Philly battle against Villanova at Lincoln Financial Field next week. Right back to Ellick again. Dante Vaughn, the sophomore from Memphis, on the tackle.
Marchi has a great feel for timing, especially the intermediate, the short routes. The ball is turned loose on target. They have the ability to make plays with this offense, and their tall, lanky wide receivers are big playmakers.
The time Isaiah Wright, the catch, a good block by his offensive lineman downfield, springs right to the 38-yard line. I mentioned the Villanova game at the Link next Saturday, then a Friday night game against UMass, a couple of home games, then a very big Thursday night game at South Florida. South Florida is the team picked in the east of the American Athletic Conference. Then Houston on September 30th and on through the remainder of their conference schedule. Marchi shot downfield. Kirkwood incomplete. You see Houston on that schedule, and Major Applewhite taking over as the head coach at Houston. And the priority is, of course, everyone living in that southeast Texas area and just having a chance to have food and water and their health and picking up the pieces. And in the football vein, Rice and Houston will be two programs that I think a lot of people around the country will be pulling for as they try to put the season back in place at some point when it's reasonable for them. Both displaced because of the just horrific conditions post-Hurricane Harvey. But Houston in the same conference as the Owls. This is David Hood, and a good read from the secondary position when Tavon Coney came up to make that play. Dropped as a linebacker, came up to make the stop. Limits the gain. It'll be third down.
If Coney doesn't make that play and shed a block, that's a big play. Temple's answer to all the blitzing and zone blitzing has been wide receiver screens and screens to the tailback.
3rd and 10, right back out to Hood. Coney again in the open field with a good tackle at the 31-yard line. 3-yard shot of first down.
And now just a steady dose of zone coverage. Back off, keep it in front of you, make them put a bunch of plays together. Temple moving the ball methodically.
4th and 3, trying to keep this drive alive. It's incomplete as it was intended for Isaiah Wright. So 3:22 left, 42-16, and we'll see if the Irish get Ian Book and the number 2s out there on the offense. So the starter will stay in for the Irish.
Obviously, Brian Kelly wants to finish strong. He wants to see his guy take this from beginning to end, make a statement game in his first game. He did take a bunch of hits today, and we were kind of questioning whether or not he should still be in there. He is young, and he can use the experience.
Yeah, we were talking about that during the break after the last Irish score, keeping Wimbush in. This is Dexter Williams, full speed, 30, 20, Williams down at the 2-yard line. Delvon Randall, who's seen a bunch of snaps out there, didn't quit. 67 on the game, and the Irish have run for over 400 yards here today.
Cole Kmet, 84, freshman tight end, gets a great block up in the middle and springs him loose. Dexter Williams takes it for over 400 as a team rushing.
Williams just short of the goal line as he tries to get the payoff touchdown there. 2:42 remaining.
I knew Notre Dame would try to run the ball a little bit more than usual than what we have seen.
Well, they have 3 100-plus yard rushers in this game, and there's 2 of them. Wimbush gives it, Williams scores it, and the Irish put up a 7th touchdown on the day. Well, Dexter Williams deserved that. He had that long run off.
Give it to him.
That guy's tired, and somebody else comes in and gets the sugar at the end. But Williams, who had 200 rushing yards last year, one of the big examples of the new strength and conditioning work done here by the new staff at Notre Dame. His body has changed significantly. Looked really good in the spring game. Matt Balis has done a sensational job with a lot of the players on this roster. Williams, one of them. Yoon adds his 7th extra point. 49-16 for the Irish here today. Doug, there was an onslaught at the start for Notre Dame. A great beginning to the season and a lull there in the middle. Does it mean anything to finish this strong for Notre Dame and pull away in the 4th quarter?
I think it does. I think they needed to make a statement, say we're back, the 4-8 season's over with, moving forward, and to have that kind of momentum from beginning to end, a 60-minute game is important because they had moments last year. Great quarters, but not the whole game put together. Second quarter, Temple gained momentum, started to make it a ball game, and turned it around. The stop and a missed field goal stemmed the momentum and put it back at the defensive side of the ball. Pressure on the quarterback, creating a turnover, doing a lot of things on defense.
Well, let's come back to the theme that we started with earlier this afternoon. New field, new coordinators, offense, defense, special teams, but a new strength and conditioning coach. And the difference everyone said that the presence of Matt Balis has made is significant in the offseason. And there he is. He was at the University of Connecticut the last 3 years. And his presence with Notre Dame has just changed the approach to what happens day in, day out in that weight room. Mike Jones on the return here to the 30-yard line. 2:22 left before Temple's drive starts. Let's go down to Catherine.
Well, guys, just an update on Notre Dame tight end Durham Smythe. He went to the bench, as we saw earlier, to get examined by the medical staff. They removed his helmet and took him into the medical tent. He has now been on the sidelines. He was talking to Chip Long on the last defensive drive, but he is ruled out for the remainder of the game. Mike?
Okay, Catherine, we'll watch during the week to see if he returns to practice. Kareem making the stop there for the Irish. Here was the play as Smythe reached out, couldn't bring in that ball, and then coming over from the safety position, the contact made by Sean Chandler. And you could see Smythe's defenseless at that point. Chandler's trying to pull up, but the shoulder pad still hits the helmet. And one of those things, the medical tent on the sidelines, Alabama brought this to college football and now the NFL as well. It allows the athletic training staff to go into more private place, concentrate, eliminate some of the exterior distractions, and diagnose any potential concussions for players or other injuries if medical staff so choose. Gardner is popped and hit. And this Notre Dame defense, Osmar Bilal, with that play, they are also bringing an attitude that, Doug, you talked about from that strength and conditioning program, translating it onto the football field.
I saw Drew Tranquill early in the game shed a tackle, throw the blocker off, and make the tackle. You could see the explosion in his leg, much stronger on the field and on his feet. And the speed of the defense is definitely improved.
Final minute here, so Jeff Collins will have to get his guys back in Philadelphia and back pointed towards the remainder of their season. A couple of games at home that they'll have a great chance to win and get set for a very big game in their conference season at South Florida in their hopes of playing for the conference title for the 3rd consecutive year. Meantime, Notre Dame's defense will feel very good about the first game under the Mike Elko era. 71 plays and 327 yards, but a turnover, 3 sacks. Team that took a long time to get those sacks. Okay, Done. Nick Chubb. Sonny Michel.
Next.
Georgia Bulldogs. 40 years old, really good coach. 2 young assistants, relatively speaking. One from Wake Forest, Elko. Chip Long, the offensive coordinator, coming over from Memphis. They're stepping into a big pressure situation for them. Win 1 in the books.
How about Chip Long and over 400 yards rushing offensively? Just a complete day.
3 100-yard rushers. Adams with 161, Williams with 124. And in the debut for Brandon Wimbush as the Notre Dame quarterback, 106 yards and a rushing touchdown, and 184 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. 49-16 as Brian Kelly gets a win here in the opener. Notre Dame all-time moves to 107-17-5 in their opening games. Here's Catherine with Brian Kelly.
Coach, congratulations. A big victory for you in the first game of the season. What impressed you most about this win?
Well, you know, we had a quarterback that hadn't started before, and I thought just getting him in the flow of the game, he made some plays and got more comfortable and learned a lot today. So that's huge. I thought running the football today, you know, we had a lot of big plays running the football, exerted our will against a team that's won 10 games over the last 2 years. Really good opponent. And then I think defensively, we found a little bit more about ourselves in terms of what we can do. We've got to continue to progress there, but I think there's a lot of positive signs that we can take. And I think more than anything else, this team's got a lot of pride that's going to build during the year.
Coach, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Mike?
All right, Catherine, thank you. Brian Kelly's full press conference is coming up for you on NBCSports.com. Next Saturday night, see you in prime time for the Irish and the Dogs under the lights here in South Bend. With Catherine Tappan, Doug Flutie, Rob Hyland, Pierre Moussard, great team in the truck, Mike Tirico. So long from South Bend. Thank you for watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Bose.